we recognize that God does something amazing through the local church. And just to check that, if you would, just think back over your own experience in your life here at Celebration. And think of some of the amazing things that God has done. Think of some of the amazing stories that you have heard. God does amazing things through His Word and through His people in the local church. And we just feel like that's something that as a body we need to be a part of. So I want you to think about this, not just on the broader level of what we as a church are about or what we're doing. I want you to think about it in terms of your own personal life. Think about just you for just a moment. Wouldn't it be incredible to be a part of something grander, of something bigger than yourself? And that's what is really at stake here. That was what was at stake 42 years ago when a group of people sat down at a Baskin-Robbins and they began to have a conversation about an area that needed a new church. And here we are now celebrating our 40th anniversary. And most of us in this room wouldn't know any of those people who were part of establishing that church. We wouldn't know any of those people who were there at that Baskin-Robbins. And yet, here we are, worshiping God and seeing lives transformed every single day through the power of the Holy Spirit because of that testimony and because of that faithfulness. And I don't know about you all, but I feel that I owe those people an incredible debt of gratitude because they invested their time and their energy and their effort and their resources. I'm sure that maybe somebody at that first meeting had the wherewithal to say, you know what? You know what's going to happen 40 years ago, from now rather? A bunch of people we don't know are going to sit inside of a church called what we don't know yet, but they're going to sit there inside that church and they're going to talk about and celebrate the fact that lives have been changed for the last 40 years. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And if anybody had the wherewithal to think that, they'd be absolutely right. And so now it's your turn and it's my turn to take on that same attitude that they had all those years ago. And so would you be willing today, so you know what? I'm going to demonstrate my own passion to see new churches established because I believe that God is at work through the power of the local church. It means something. And I want our church, you all, to be a part of a church that so understands Acts chapter 2 and the power of what God does through a church, that we're a congregation that takes it seriously and wants to be a part of planting other churches around the country and around the world. So that's how we're here. That's what brings us together this day. So what do you do? What do you do with all of that? Well, today's a great day for you to kind of understand what's involved in planting churches and kind of working on that passion. So what we've done is we brought a lot of guests here. You saw and met two of our guests here today, but let me just tell you who else is here on our campus. They're going to be out on the runway in a few moments. Sean McMahon from our local Florida Baptist Association is here. Pastor Jacob Turner from Calvary Baptist Church is here. And you all... So, Calvary, in case you all didn't figure it out, Calvary Baptist is joining us today. They're sitting right here. And a while back, we heard about this church that was really kind of struggling coming through COVID. And we reached out and said, hey, is there anything we can do to come alongside you guys? And since that time, they've gone on to call a pastor. And we're just really excited for what God's doing. By the way, our STAR project from Season of Compassion, we talked about, hey, we're going to be revitalizing a local church and helping with their facilities and all that. Calvary Baptist Church is that church. And so we have a stake and a partnership in what God is doing there. So Pastor Jacob is here. Oscar's here from the International Mission Board. He's going to be talking about church planting all around the world. James and Chase, you've already met. They're going to be out on the runway. Emmanuel Rique is also here from the Florida Baptist Convention, as is Martin Vargas. And Martin pastors Iglesia Real down in Hollywood, Florida. And you all, this church, God has used it to plant churches all across the state. And so there's just a lot that we want to learn from Martin and from his congregation. So all of them are going to be out there on the runway in between services so that you can meet with them and talk with them and connect with them about what it means to be a part of planting churches. And they're also going to go to the Families with Teens lunch today. They'll be there at that time. Now, here's what I really need you to do, though. I really need you to hang around and have conversations and meet these folks and talk with them about what is involved in planting new churches. And so to incentivize you to do that, here's what's going on. Out on the runway today, we're giving out free ice cream. We just thought that would be appropriate. What a great way, right? What a great way to celebrate our beginning all those years ago, today. So it's a gorgeous, stunning day, right? It's beautiful, it's warm, it's all those things. So when we're done here, I need you to go out onto the runway, grab some ice cream, and stand around, enjoy your friends, talk church planting, and just have a great time celebrating our anniversary. Can we do that together?